What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another edition of the Rise and Fall Fantasy Football Show. This is the top 30 running back rankings of Week 11. Now, just if you guys have not been on our show before, we don't like to just give you guys 5 or 10 running backs that may or may not help your lineup depending if you have them or not. We want to make sure we provide you guys with a full list of rankings in a timely manner that you guys can watch, get what you got to get done, and get your lineup set. So that is why we're just going to go through these rankings, highlight some of the guys we like, and move right along here. If you guys do have any particular questions on guys that we don't discuss enough or that we don't discuss at all, just leave a comment down below or hit us up on Twitter at Rise and Fall Pod. That is Rise, the letter N, Fall Pod. We will get back to you before game time on Sunday. With that being said, guys, let's get into the rankings here for Week 11 for the running back position. Starting off the top 10 running backs for Week 11, we have Alvin Kamara. Kamara at 9,200 on DraftKings is very, very rich and has a tough matchup, but he is always a must start no matter what week with the PPR league especially. With that being said, guys, I'm not going to sit here and try to act like Drew Brees not being there is troubling, but I do think Alvin Kamara will have a decent game. I am a little hesitant, but not that much to not start him at any meet. Dalvin Cook, guys, comes in at number 2. But listen, Dallas Cowboys are actually sneaky kind of good against the run to a degree. I know they let up a big game against Kenyon Drake and in Gibson, but look what they've done otherwise. They've actually been decently stout against the run. And so I'm going to be cautiously putting Dalvin Cook at number 2. But listen, realistically, you're going to start him no matter what. At number 3, guys, we have Derrick Henry against the Baltimore Ravens. I'm a little hesitant about him this week, no doubt about it. This Ravens team, I'm just kind of off on all the Titans right now. And they could show me wrong. The Titans could come in and kick some ass, but right now I'm going to be a little bit lower on Derrick Henry. But hey, it's Derrick Henry at number 3. I'll respect him and the name and put him in here at number 3. Just so I don't look like an idiot if he does go off. Number 4, I got Aaron Jones. Another tough matchup against Indianapolis. Listen, again, if you have him, you're going to use him. I'm personally not going to go after these guys in DraftKings particularly, but in your league long, go for it. Miles Sanders, Josh Jacobs are coming in at 5 and 6. So Josh Jacobs first, I should say. Best matchup in the top 5, Josh Jacobs. I do like him, but just be cautious. It is a divisional game, so that does always scare me. But he's looked fantastic last week. He's getting the volume. He's the clear number 1. Don't be fooled by Devontae Booker's production last week. I like him at number 5. And then Miles Sanders at number 6, coming in at 6,900. I'm not a huge fan of the matchup this week, so that does scare me a tad, but I do think he warrants the top 6 option here. Now, number 7, Deandre Swift. As of Thursday night, he all of a sudden is in the concussion protocol. So there is a very good chance, guys, that Deandre Swift might be out this week. And if that's the case, man, I mean, that sucks because it's a really good matchup here. But listen, AP, Kerryon Johnson, you would have to kind of split that, I guess. And I think I would probably put him down in the 30s just in case, because I don't think they're going to give you the production Swift might. But hey, Kerryon Johnson, we've seen him step up before, so who knows. Number 8, Nick Chubb. His matchup is not that bad, but they have not let up a 100-yard rusher all year, which is very interesting. And that is what he does, is rush for yards. So in a way, he's kind of touchdown dependent this week, but you're not going to not start him. I'm totally cool with starting Nick Chubb. In fact, I expect him to score. Mike Davis at number 9, great matchup. He is the guy there. You start him, try to get the production out of him while you have him. If you were able to snag him away after someone dropped him after bringing back Christian McCaffrey. If that's the case, guys, go ahead and start Mike Davis if you have him. He's a top 10 running back this week, no doubt about it. And then at number 10, guys, I think the most controversial person this week is James Conner. Man, he pissed me off last week, and I'm sorry that I even had him at number 4 on my rankings. I'll never do it again. I was so off on this guy for like 5 years now, and now I just can't stand it. I'm so tired of him.
My lust, my greed, I deserve it!
Every time I think he's going to suck, he does great. Every time I finally give him some credit, he just shits the bed, and I'm over it. James Conner here at number 10, but listen, great matchup and all that good stuff, but, F that guy. With that being said, guys, there's some people that we like and don't like this week. The running back I'm most worried about, Derrick Henry. 2 of the 3 smallest outputs in the last 2 weeks of his fantasy season so far, despite getting an average of 20 carries in those games. Yikes. Ravens are also giving up the 9th fewest points to running backs. They've always been known as a stout defense, and if this team's offense gets going this week against them, that could be a problem for Derrick Henry and their offense. I am just not a fan of the Titans this week, and I have Derrick Henry as my running back that I am most worried about. The guy who I actually expect to have a bounce back week. I just told him to go F himself. But let's give us some James Conner, man.
I haven't learned a thing.
Only one game, all right, of more than 10 plus carries and less than double-digit fantasy points, and that was last week. Now, the trend that I said to you guys last week, if you guys weren't here, is that every time James Conner has had double-digit points, he's also had double-digit carries. And, of course, last week, he did that, double-digit carries with single-digit points. So basically just shooting my whole theory and blowing it up. It was ridiculous. Long story short, guys, Jaguars are giving up the 6th most points to running backs. And listen, James Conner, this is the bounce back week. This is the last straw I'm giving him personally. If he doesn't do it this week, then I'm over it. The volume's just not there. He's not getting targeted in the pass game. So he, in an offense that has a lot of pass potential and a lot of pass catchers who are really, really elite type talents, I'm just not a fan of James Conner right now, even in these good matchups. But that being said, guys, I'm going to give him the chance here. I think this week he will produce for you, and I like him as the bounce back player of the week. That's just the gut feeling. I'm going with it, and I could be wrong. So if I am, I'm sorry. Starting off with number 11 here, Antonio Gibson. Then it's James Robinson in a tough matchup. Clyde Edwards-Helaire in a really good matchup here. I actually like him and Le'Veon Bell this week. Kareem Hunt at number 14. Joe Mixon, guys, at number 15. Now, if Joe Mixon is out and Gio Bernard's a starter, he would jump up to 19 for me above Zeke Elliott. So Zeke would go to 18, and then Gio would go above a Salvon Ahmed. All right, that's kind of how I'm going to do that right now. Then rounding out the rest of the round here, Ronald Jones at number 16. Listen, I know it's a tough matchup, but I love Ronald Jones, and I actually think he might outproject that number 16 spot. Kalen Ballage, guys, we talked about him on the waiver wire show. Really like him this week. I think he's going to be the guy, and I'm excited to see what he can do in that kind of premier role. With Tremaine Pope there and Josh Kelly, I think he'll be the guy that's going to get most volume. Damian Harris, number 18, guys. You got to love if he has a great matchup against the run, which he does this week. You start Damian Harris if he has this kind of matchup. He's shown to be super productive against those teams. 19, we have Zeke Elliott. Listen, I don't know what to think of Zeke. All right, so that's where I have him. Number 20, we have Salvon Ahmed. I do like him this week, even if Matt Breida comes back. I would think Salvon Ahmed should get the bulk of the carries. Now, the best of that bunch, guys, that we do like is Salvon Ahmed, Antonio Gibson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Damian Harris, as we mentioned, and Kalen Ballage. So if I had to pick any guys from this tier in particular, I'm choosing these 5 guys. Makes sense? And if you have a combination of them, I mean, it's really dealer's choice at that point. You know, you can go by my rankings or go with the ones you like. Personally, I really like Damian Harris's value, and I have to love Kalen Ballage's value. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire has a great matchup. Antonio Gibson, I know J.D. McKissick, people are concerned, but he has a good matchup, and so does Salvon Ahmed. So, listen, it can go any way here. The last of the 30 here, we have Todd Gurley, J.D. McKissick coming in at number 22, Duke Johnson, Darrell Henderson at number 24, guys, 25, Nyheim Hines, 26, Jonathan Taylor. I had to kind of put them together here. I mean, what else do you want from me with this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know which one to choose here. I'm hoping that it's going to be Nyheim Hines or Jonathan Taylor. I just don't know. Michael Piron at 27. He's supposed to get a premier role, so if you need a running back and you want to try him out here, I do like him at 27. He's also pretty good value on DraftKings this week at 4,400. Melvin Gordon at 28, guys. Listen, that Denver backfield, I don't know what to think of them right now. Gordon has been super disappointing, and I guess we kind of thought that would happen, but I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that Denver offense. They can have their games, but there's a lot of lack of luster, right, with that offense, it seems like, even though they have some really nice pieces. Number 29, Leonard Fournette. Listen, a very tough matchup for Tampa Bay. We saw that Ronald Jones is really the guy. In my opinion, Leonard Fournette is kind of the spell guy now. And to me, that doesn't warrant, in a tough matchup, him to be in your lineup. So I have it at number 29. And then I'm going to round it out with Le'Veon Bell, guys, at number 30. Like we said, really nice matchup. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire did have an illness. Listen, we don't know what these illnesses are. He might have it all the way till Sunday, and then it's Le'Veon Bell's show. So just be mindful that he could be a really interesting option. And if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is out, Le'Veon Bell at 4,400 needs to be in lineups. Okay. Also, guys, Kerryon Johnson, AP, like we said, they would kind of come in somewhere around here if Deandre Swift is not able to get cleared from the concussion protocol. And like we did on the wide receivers, we're not going to leave the rest of the bunch high and dry here, guys. But before we do, the top tier start for top tier three. All right. Now, with that being said, guys, that rounds out our top 30 on this list here. And there are some interesting names here that could be plugged into your lineup, and some of them that are going to be utilized as RB2 or even an RB3 flex and so forth. But the guy that I like the most of this tier, guys, I hate admitting it, and I know I'm a Washington fan, but trust me, I'm not a fan of this guy. But I'm going to put him here because of the PPR value, J.D. McKissic. Listen, if you have him, and especially in a PPR, especially, let me emphasize that, especially in a PPR, especially, you start him. Captain Alice check down is definitely going to make sure that J.D. McKissic is going to get his yards, or his targets at least, and get his catches. He's a better pass blocker than Antonio Gibson. I think the passing grade differential is around 70 plus. It was like 80 to 18 or something like that, which means that he's a much better pass protector on third down. So if there was rushers and the running back needs to stay in and block, J.D. McKissic can do that. Obviously, the coaches got a little scared of Antonio Gibson doing that when he got, technically he didn't, but when they say he got Kyle Allen hurt. But that being said, guys, I like both of them. You know, Gibson's going to get you the ground yards and the goal line and the red zone touchdowns, but McKissic is going to get you a good amount of yards. And listen, he'll score too if they get that ball moving. The best of the rest, guys, listen, Gio Bernard, he would get bumped up significantly, obviously, if Joe Mixon's out. We talked about him. He'd be at 19. Outside of that, guys, I don't trust anyone in these matchups here. Maybe James White, maybe Rex Burkhead. You know, who knows? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they'll get involved if you have to. I actually kind of like Tony Pollard, if I was going to pick one out of here. He's gotten some interesting production the last couple of weeks, and he does merit some more, you know, recognition. And I also do kind of like a number 32, Lat Murray. Jameis Winston, they might want to lean on the run a little bit more, especially if he struggles and does throw some picks. And then all of a sudden the coaches get scared. They're going to start checking down to maybe Lat Murray and Alvin Kamara. And that's kind of where I see the running back value for the Saints. That is your rankings here for week 11. We got through the top 30 to go with lineups here for your running back position. And we also covered 31 through 43, just in case you needed that little extra flavor. If we didn't talk about anyone in particular that you needed answers for, drop a comment down below or hit us up on Twitter at Rise and Fall Pod. That is Rise, the letter N, Fall Pod. With that being said, guys, that is our running back rankings here for week 11. Good luck on your matches this weekend, and we will talk to you guys in week 12.
Send the rocks across the